So two things before we begin. First, please hit subscribe if you're watching on YouTube, or send this link out to someone. Like the video, like all that would mean a lot to us. Second, we have a couple pieces of news to discuss. Two major players have opted out. CJ Mosley, linebacker for the Jets. Juwan James, tackle for the Broncos. So how do you think these opt-outs affect their teams, and which one is more impactful?
I think the one that's more impactful is going to be the opt-out of Juwan James, because the Broncos were already weak at tackle. They didn't have anything good on the left side of the line. Garrett Bowles is a penalty machine, hasn't done anything there. So that was supposed to be their one weakness, and James is a rock-solid tackle. But now he's going to be off the field for another year. He missed last season, and the team just doesn't have any depth at the position. Like, I'm looking at their depth chart now, and I don't really recognize any of the names. The only one I do recognize is Elijah Wilkinson, who's a backup guard, and I only recognize him because he was at UMass when I was at UMass, and we don't have many Minutemen in the NFL right now. So, yeah, I think the Broncos are going to need to add some tackle help there. I think for the Jets, CJ Mosley opting out is disappointing, but their defense was already going to be much worse after they traded Jamal Adams. So now they're losing their best linebacker. I think what we can assume is their back seven is not going to be very good this year. Their defense is just going to kind of be middle of the pack at best if all their players play up to their potential. And I think the team's going to quit on Adam Gase anyway at some point. So I don't think Mosley's opt-out is that big of a deal. There is one more opt-out that I did forget about when you asked me before we started. Is there anything that's happened in the last 2 hours? I believe Marcus Gilbert has opted out. Let me double check on that. The Cardinals tackle. And yes, he is planning on opting out. So that's going to hurt them. I know they just signed Kelvin Beachum, though, so I feel like they have a good replacement. I'm interested to hear your thoughts on that, as well as Juwan James and our good friend CJ Mosley.
Yeah, I looked at the news. I tried to find some stuff before we started recording. I didn't see that, so thanks for pointing that out. The Beachum signing was huge, and it was an insurance policy for Marcus Gilbert. And little did we know that they'd need it before the start of the season. So I think they're okay at tackle right now. They have Beachum, they have DJ Humphries on the left side, and then they have Josh Jones. They drafted in the third round. So as long as everyone stays healthy right now, I think they're going to be okay. The problem's going to be if Humphries gets hurt like he usually does, if Beachum gets hurt like he usually does, they're going to have to start Josh Jones and some other guy at tackle, which is going to be a disaster. But this does hurt at Arizona, but they're not alone. I mean, people are dropping out of the league, usually like mostly offensive linemen. So Juwan James's dropout or opt-out is not that surprising, but it is pretty painful for the Broncos. They had a lot of hype heading into this year with their improved receiver as Drew Lock in his second year. They signed Melvin Gordon. You have Noah Fant gaining experience. Like there's a lot of hype with this team, but suddenly they're down. They're one of their better tackles who, he didn't really play much last year. So you have to wonder if the Broncos regret signing him. So yeah, it is going to be pretty brutal for the Broncos. I still think they can maybe get to the playoffs because of their defense, but it's going to be tougher now. As for the Jets, I think this only helps them because they're building for the future. They traded away Jamal Adams, and now they're going to get a better draft pick. Maybe they get Jamar Chase in the 2021 NFL draft. So I think that could be nice for them. And I think this is another lemon. Like CJ Mosley played 1.5 games last year. And now he's going to miss all this year. Like, is he ever really going to play for them? Like, they don't know. I feel like the Jets have to start looking for a new linebacker, but they have a ton of draft picks, so they can make it happen. All right, so Jordan Reed was signed by the 49ers. Kind of a surprising move. I mean, you covered him. He played for the Redskins for a while. So what do you think about this signing?
Yeah, I think this is a great signing for the 49ers. They got him on a cheap one-year deal, so there's no risk from their standpoint of, if he doesn't stay healthy, that they're not going to lose much. I think the bigger risk is on Reed's part because he's had 7 or 8 concussions in his career. And, at this point, you just hope that he can stay healthy and avoid those big hits. And, he, by all accounts, he's a good guy. He's super talented when he's been healthy. He just hasn't been able to stay on the field in recent seasons. I think as a number 2 option behind George Kittle, I think he could really find almost like a Vernon Davis type resurgence. Davis left the 49ers, joined the Broncos, and, wasn't very good. Then he came to Washington, became their number 2 tight end and was really good because he was mostly just asked to work as a secondary receiver to complement Reed. I think Reed will do that for Kittle. And I think that just gives them another really good matchup weapon on offense. They were kind of lacking that with the uncertainty about Deebo Samuel's health. I think he might be ready to start the season, but if he's not, this just gives them another weapon. So I think that was a very smart signing. And he's already familiar with Kyle Shanahan because he coached Reed as a rookie in Washington. So I think this is just an A-grade move by John Lynch and company. And it makes me feel a little more confident about the 49ers, who I was kind of a little bit skeptical of this season because I think they're going to have a Super Bowl hangover. But moves like this to upgrade depth at this point in the offseason are always good moves.
Yeah, there's no downside here. You can argue if there's upside because Jordan Reed's been injured so much. Like it's probably likely that he's going to miss a ton of games and may not even play, which is unfortunate because he's so talented. But on the off chance that he can avoid injury and not get concussed anymore, this could really work out for the 49ers if they have another intermediate weapon for Jimmy Garoppolo. George Kittle is a phenomenal player. Like you can argue he's the best tight end in the NFL. But what if he goes down? What if he misses all this year? Like they need an insurance option. And now they have one who has experience, as you said, in Kyle Shanahan's offense. So I like the move. And, like I said, no downside and all upside, although probably won't see the upside. So